boat projects. There just never seems to be an end to the boat project. So here's the deal about boats. It's a floating house. Every single system that's in your house, plumbing, electrical, heating and air conditioning, all that has to be on a boat, live aboard like this, as well as propulsion, paint, gel coat, bimini tops, things that you have to maintain, generators, diesel heaters, etc. So I am currently working on a whole bunch of different projects, but some I'm going to make some good progress on, some not so much due to the weather. It's currently raining, and I've been trying to work on at the front of the boat up there on that anchor windlass, and I'm at the point where I've got some sanding to do and some drilling to do, which means extension cords out there in the rain and all that kind of thing. Probably not a good idea. So I'm not sure how much we're going to get done on the anchor windlass, but I got some heating issues. My batteries are giving me some grief. I'm going to work on seeing if I can kind of recondition my flooded batteries. I'll show you what I'm doing with that as I do it. And a couple other things around here. The place is a mess. Got a little cleaning up to do. So let's jump right in and see if we can't get something done here. Well, once again, I'm down here in the engine room / engine crawl space, trying to solve a mystery. And the mystery is, where the hell is my heat going? So it's cold, and we're not getting much performance out of this diesel heater. So I'm going to spin you around to show you this thing. So we've got water in, water out, or vice versa. And over here on the ground, let's see if I can get enough light where you can see it. There's a pump down there that pumps the water around the system. Now, the pump normally runs out of that box right up there. That box right there in the center of the screen, that guy. But I have temporarily jury-rigged the pump to be on a switch over here so I can run it manually. And here's what's weird. Right now the pump is cycling. If we check the temperature on this guy right here, we're at 130 degrees, 137 degrees. If we check this, we're at 158. So we get to about 165 and then the unit shuts off. So that's our burner area right there. I don't know, hopefully you can see the pointer dot here. I have insulated all the hoses throughout the whole boat that transport this water around, because at first I just thought, well, maybe it's just laying against the hull everywhere, and every place I could get to, I've spent 2 days crawling around and putting just pipe insulation around the copper tubing and bigger insulation around the flex tube, because there's a mixture of both. But right now, in this situation, if I go out here and I check the two blowers that are closest to the thing, I'm getting 50-60 degree water out of them. Okay, so here's my thought. These two hoses that we see over here, this one, the red one, and this one, the black one, are the ones that are coming directly from the pump. And they're both hot. Okay, so they're both, let's just see how hot they are. 128 degrees, 130 degrees. Then this one has a T in it, and it has this valve right here and this valve right here. This one says open in winter, open winter. So that's got to be open, right? Well, when you're dumb and you know it, you got to admit it, right? So, gosh, that little valve that I showed you on the center of that crossbar. So I hot-wired the pump so I could hear the pump running, and I could hear water circulating, but I could hear over there by the fuel tank And I kept thinking, oh, it's traveling through the hoses. That's what I'm hearing. No, it was that heat exchanger for the hot water. So that heat exchanger does two things, apparently. It will take water from the block and make hot water for the shower and so forth. It will also take water from that diesel heater, apparently, and make hot water with that. With that valve on that center cross piece of plumbing in an open position, the water was going across there, going into that heat exchanger, coming right back, and in 3 minutes we'd have the thing up to 165 degrees. As soon as I changed that valve, I had the pump running, and the hoses, the copper pipe was about 85 degrees or something like that. As soon as I switched it, that return line, which is the top one on the port side there, got cold. So I was in fact correct in my assessment that the water was never circulating through the rest of the boat. I just wasn't correct in why. So right now everything's running. The heater's been running for more than the 3 minutes it takes to get it up to full temperature. I have heat coming out of all my grills. This one's blowing heat well. If I go around now and I check my passive radiators, this one right here is currently at 89 degrees was what, well, there's 97. I got warm air blowing out of here. There's a radiator back behind the wall there. Another passive one right here, 112 degrees. If I come down here into the master cabin, this one doesn't blow very well, but it is blowing warm air for really the very first time. And if I look at these passive radiators under the bed, 121 degrees on that one. Right now is what top I saw. So I feel pretty dumb. However, I still maintain that insulating those pipes was a good step, because obviously the more heat I can hold in those pipes without them cooling down every time it shuts off, the less fuel we'll use in the long run, the more effective this thing will be at keeping the boat warm. It is warming up nicely. I'm going to take off my sweatshirt and keep an eye on it, but the problem was I was just dumb. Well, I wasn't dumb. I mean, I'm not dumb. I'm a problem solver guy, and I've been trying to methodically step through some diagnostic steps to figure out what was going on here. I just didn't try that valve because I was like, okay, well, if the other one says it's got to be open in winter, obviously this one needs to be as well, because that whole circulatory system needs to be open in the winter. But so I think what was going on is after that heat exchanger was getting hot enough, some was making its way through the rest of the boat, because it wasn't not doing anything at all. Like I said, at the front of the boat, those radiators were heating up pretty well, but they were getting it after, kind of after that heat exchanger got fully to temperature. So maybe I got this for now. All right, well, part of living on a boat is you get your power from shore power, but really when you're running day-to-day living aboard the boat, most of your electrical power is coming from your inverter, which is taking your house bank of batteries and converting that DC voltage to 110 volts. Everything from shore power is not wired directly to outlets and so forth. So I have been kind of struggling to get a full charge on my batteries. I'm going to bring you down here and show you my voltmeter. So that's about where it stays all the time when we're running the inverter. So today, it's a Saturday. I don't have to be working today, so I don't need the internet, the laptop, all that stuff. So I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down all power usage in the boat. I'm going to turn everything off. The inverter's going to be off. The only thing that's going to be on is the battery charger. and I'm going to leave the boat for most of the day. I'm going to go take a drive, take the dog with me, and we're going to go up to Anacortes or somewhere like that and drive around. Or I'm looking over at Olympic National Park over there, and boy, there's fresh snow up on the mountains. Sure looks pretty over there. But we're going to head off and let the boat charge for the bulk of the day and see where we can get those batteries. Might even come back later today and start the engines and charge from the alternator. And then what I'm trying to do is I've been reading all my manuals on the charger. I've been reading about reconditioning flooded cell batteries, and it does look like what you're supposed to do is charge them all the way up, discharge them all the way down, charge them all the way up again. There's a desulfonation process you can go through if your charger will do it. My charger has what's called an equalization step that you're supposed to do periodically, but you got to have batteries fully charged to do the equalization thing. So we are off today to go see if we can do something while the charger just sits here and charges the batteries with no load on them. And I will show you what it looks like when we get back, and I might even show you what we see while we're out on our drive. Well, it is obviously time for us to re-waterproof our canvas top up here. Of course, it's been raining solid for 3 or 4 days now without any let up, but yeah, we're just dripping through here like crazy. So I've been doing some research. There is products that you can use to clean and restore the waterproofness of your canvas, but it's got to be dry, so not going to get that done anytime right away. So we'll just gonna have to deal with it for a little bit. Good thing boats are waterproof, right? All right, well, we're getting a little stir crazy. I got to tell you, we're in the middle of this atmospheric river thing, and it has been raining non-stop for about 3 days now. We're on to, I think, our 3rd day of rain. And I don't know, people that live up here in Seattle all the time are kind of used to this. I'm from the desert west, and I am not. Nor is the dog. She's kind of bored and just tired of getting wet every time she goes out. The seals are back, so I'll peek out the window here and see if we can see them. It's funny, they're not there one day, and then all of a sudden there's the whole batch of them here, and they sit out there and just make noise all day. Doesn't bother me. It bothers the guy that used to be parked next to me. He's always complaining about them, but I kind of like it. I like being out in nature. But anyway, I'm just working on some work and kind of waiting for this weather to break. I may head back to Salt Lake a little bit early now that I've kind of got the furnace thing situated. Again, there was nothing wrong with it. I was using it wrong. And so there. The batteries, on the other hand, I don't really believe I have the wherewithal to really get these things rejuvenated. What you have to be able to do is charge them all the way up, discharge them all the way down, and then charge them all the way up again. And that kind of resets the life on them, I believe. I mean, I'm oversimplifying it, obviously, but I've been watching a bunch of stuff and doing my research on it, and that's what it looks like you have to do. I'm not getting them fully charged, and I'm not getting them fully discharged, and I don't really have, like the people that are doing them in the YouTube videos have a load device that you can put a load on them and this and that. So I'm not sure I've got what I need to do that. And battery technology has gotten a lot better anyway, and I'm starting to think that it might be time to look at doing lithium batteries and adding some solar panels to the top up here so that I can be more standalone off the grid out hanging around at anchor somewhere without having to run the generator all the time. So I'm doing a little research on that. If I decide that it is indeed time to do that, I think what I'll wind up doing is I'll probably haul the boat out and I'll do the stern thrusters, the dock mate system, and new batteries all at the same time. And then I won't have any money to put fuel in the boat to go anywhere, so I'll have to sit in the slip for another year. No, it'll be all right. I mean, I just kind of feel like those are the 3 kind of last major system upgrades that I want to do. I do also want to add a water maker, but that can be done anytime. The boat doesn't have to be out of the water to do that. It doesn't technically have to be out of the water to do the stern thrusters, but the guy said it would be easier if it was. He could do them with it in the water, but I think it'd be easier to have it out of the water, and it's about time for bottom paint anyway. So yeah, I may wrap this up for now, and I'm probably going to keep an eye on the weather. It's been into my second week up here, and it's getting close to the holidays, and I've got some things I have to be back in Salt Lake for, so I don't want to head out in the middle of an atmospheric river event and be battling snow up over all the top of the mountains. No reason to do that. I don't have to be back in any, I'm not on a huge deadline, but I probably will head back at some point here. I've got, the boat's a mess. I've made a mess cleaning or, doing all that insulation stuff, electrical work. I've got tools spread from here to there. I got to clean all that up and do some work at the same time. So I got a fair amount of things to do to keep me busy for the next day or two. Hopefully I can keep the dog from chewing my arm off, because she's getting really bored of just laying on the boat all the days. And yeah, there we have it. There we have it.